Here is my problem with AI. The other day, my boss, let's call him Michael, called me for a Teams meeting.
All right, everybody in the conference room.
Chandoo, I need AI in our data. I said, Michael, what are you talking about? And Michael said, we got this budgeting season now, so we have got actual budget forecast data for all our business units, projects, and programs. And I want to ask AI to analyze this data. Essentially, what Michael wanted is kind of like a ChatGPT, but for our budget data. Now, here is my problem with AI. In order to use any kind of AI tools like Copilot or ChatGPT or Claude, I need to expose our finance data to these tools, and I don't want to do that. The second problem is AI is not cheap. You may have to incur some credits or pay for a subscription, and you have to keep paying this every time you want to use the AI. And third problem, and this is probably the most annoying and the biggest problem of all, is AI does and can make mistakes. Now, we all know that with finance data, there is no scope for ambiguity, no scope for mistakes. So how do we cross this bridge? I did what I can do best. I made an offline ChatGPT using Excel formulas. There is a prompt, you can type what you want, and it will give you the insights from your data. So in this video, let me demonstrate the solution to you and encourage you to rely a little bit more on the existing tools like Excel or Google Sheets or Power BI, whatever else you have, before you jump into AI. Let's go. So here is our Excel GPT, and here is a sample prompt that I have written. Total actuals by expense types this month, and this is the answer that the GPT has generated. Let's test this out with a few different prompts before we understand how this all came up. So for example, instead of total, we can ask what is the average and average budgets for projects last month. And we will get for each of our projects, what is the budget last month? And we got quite a few projects, and all of that data will be here. Let's say I don't really see all of this. I can just say top 5 and we'll get that. All of this is dynamic, and if I really want to dig deep and understand what is it that the model is using to give me these answers, I can expand the inputs and then I can see what measure we are doing, average, how much data, top 5 at a project level by budget for the last month. Let's test one more out. Max program actuals YTD, and for each of the program, what is the most maximum actual value we have year to date. Now let me peel the layers of this onion and then talk about how this actually came up. Essentially, for every prompt, we are relying on our actual budget forecast data that is already in Excel in this giant table. So here I've got a big table with more than 13,000 rows of data that has all of our actual budget forecast information for each of our programs, projects, business units, and expense types for the year of 2025. The analysis always happens on the value column here. So based on this, I have constructed a formula that essentially looks at your prompt and takes out the tokens from it and then does the analysis itself. So first, let me show you the formula, not to overwhelm or anything, but that's the Excel formula here that is doing all the magic. So in order to build that formula, what I had to first do is look at the prompts that we can potentially type and then figure out what are the inputs needed for my formula. Because all this formula is doing is it is kind of summarizing the data. For example, let's start with a simpler prompt. Total actuals by BUs, business units, and this is what we get. So for each of our business units, what is the total actual? So if you look at this, the business unit column is here, and actual will have type A, budget will have type B, and forecast will have type F. So we want essentially limit the data just to A and then add up the values and then basically split it by business unit. That's what we have done here, and then arrange it in descending order, present it, and add some data bars to visualize it so you can see the volume of data. So in order to get here, I need to first figure out what is it that we are looking for and how we are processing the data. So here the keywords are actuals, total, and BUS, business units. So what I did is I kind of specified what are all the possibilities that can occur. So here I have set up a range that tells me what possibilities are there. We can say any of these words for summarizing the data. So we can say sum, total, average, mean, median, any of these combinations, essentially a list of synonyms for our measures. And we can also say whether I want to see all, total, top 5, bottom 5, like that. Right now I have not specified anything, so it's going to give me all. And what is it that I'm looking at? Programs, projects, business units, unit expenses, and all of that. And what type of data that I'm interested in that, and whether you're looking for all the data, full year, year to date, this month, previous month, like that. So these are all the possible words that I'm looking for. You can say other words as well, but these are all the possible words. So once we figure out what words can go into the prompt, then essentially I am doing a bunch of lookups, in this case X lookup, to really ask Excel, hey, which word out of my, for example, this list here, these are the measures that we are looking. So which word of these is present in this data there? So that's what that X lookup is doing, and it comes back as total because total is there and it is there. So it says total. And second one is how much data. So right now I didn't specify year to date or anything, so it kind of goes and defaults to all data in case the X lookup fails. Everything will have a fail category here. If I say something that's not part of my measures, then we come back and do a sum. Same for these business units, so it's present there, that comes up. But if I say something that is not there, then it's gonna come up with a default value. I think this should be not all. Let's go with the BUs. Same for this, where it looks for which of the three columns, there are three types of data: budget, actual, forecast. At the end of this process, we will know what is it that we are looking for. But what if I don't want to see everything? I just want to see top 5. So if I say top 5, then I get top here and then 5 there. We are using reg extract function. This is a new Excel function that is available now to do a regular expression to get the very first number in the data. So if there is a number, then we want that number out, and if I say 5, it will come back as 5. So already top is there, and then we are looking for top 5. So we use all of these values to essentially take the data and process it. And once we know all of that, then this is the formula that is doing the magic. Of course, I didn't write that formula there. I'm using advanced formula editor. This is a Excel feature that we can use to write more complex and longer formulas. So I'm gonna show that to you here. If you enable the Excel Labs add-in, you can use that to write these kind of complex big formulas. In this formula, I am taking all the inputs. So this is the inputs using the let function. I'm reading these inputs into local variables there, and then I'm also calculating what is the this month value should be. Is it 5, 6, 7, 12, like that? Because we don't have actual dates in the data, we just have month numbers there, and I'm calculating what this month would be, and then setting up the lower and higher bounds for our date filter. So once the boundaries are set up, I'm taking all the data and then filtering that down to just the data that I care about. So this is where if I say actuals, then I'm applying filter on A. If I say budgets, then I'm applying filter on B, like that. And if there is a date component, then we are also truncating data just to that much. So for example, if I say top 5 YTD, then essentially right now we have 12 months data, but YTD is, we are only up to 7th month. So we are excluding all of these values. So once that filtering is done, we then go ahead and figure out at what level to group the data. In this case, the data should be grouped by business units. So the kind of column number for that is set up using some switch statements, and then figure out that grouping column. And then what is the data column? Data column will always be the value column. And define the measure action. Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to total? Do you want to median? Do you want to average, like that? So those things are set up, and then basically we are using group by to do that operation on the data. So once the group by is done, then we further truncate the data. If I say top 5, I don't want the entire group by results, I just want the 5 rows of that data. So that's where the top and bottom setup is done, and we sort the data and we take the top X number of rows or bottom X number of rows from it and present that in the output. Needless to say, this was a huge success. People really loved it. They were able to interact with the data, get the answers, and more importantly, very confident that it is accurate because it's all coming from Excel formulas. And if they have doubts, let's say they're not really sure if it's 2.823 million or not, they can go back to the data and asset management here. I'm going to filter that and just select the numbers and look at the status bar to see that it is actually 2.823. So very confident that the results are accurate because it's coming through the good old sums and counts and average kind of formulas. Now, obviously, this is a big formula, and I'm not expecting that everybody build these formulas instead of using ChatGPT or Copilot, but this is a fun diversion, and we were able to avoid lots of errors and confusion and incorrect answers, especially when you interact with AI, that we normally happen with these kind of situations. Now you might be saying, Chandoo, this is all good, but I'm not a formula wizard or an Excel pro like you. I can't really write formulas like this, or my data is not like this. What then? I have good news for you. Do you know that Excel already has a AI tool, well, kind of like AI tool built into it that can analyze your data based on what you want? They're called pivot tables. They are really simple to use. All you have to do is drag and drop, just like how you would do things with ChatGPT. You would drag your files and you would say what you want. It's the same thing with pivot tables. You would just drag your data and then you'd say, I want the sum of this, I want the average of that, I want this to be broken down by these things, I want this to be filtered by this, and your insights are ready. They are really simple to use. They're almost cheap or free because they're in Excel. You don't have to pay anything extra, and your data stays with you. It's not going anywhere in the cloud and helping somebody else do something else with that. So if you are curious about these pivot tables and how they can magically and massively transform your data, check out this video here. I'll catch you there. Bye.